You're listening to the Packernet Podcast Network.
US Cellular has noticed the way we use our phones has gotten ironic. We try to put our phones down for dinner, but the menu's on a QR code. That's ironic. We hit like on social posts that we don't actually like, which is ironic. Which is why US Cellular created Us Mode, to help us reconnect with each other and use our phones less ironically. A phone company wanting people to use their phones less is ironic. Let's find us again with Us Mode from US Cellular. Visit uscellular.com/builtforus to get started.
The NFL season is finally here, so make sure you're ready with NFL Sunday Ticket and YouTube TV. It gives you the most live NFL games all in one place, exactly what you need to make your Sundays more magical. Sign up today at youtube.com/Sunday Ticket. Local and national games on YouTube TV. NFL Sunday Ticket for out-of-market games excludes digital-only games.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Packernet Podcast. I am your host and resident panelist, as always, Ryan Schlip. Check us out online, packernet.com. Find me on Twitter, pack_data. Well, kind of short on time, so here's what we're going to do. We don't have a ton of calls anyways, so not a lot of news. I'm going to rip through that, then we'll get to the calls, and we'll call it a day. But there is some news, so I don't want to just get straight to the calls. We got the first official injury report. We got a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday report here. So essentially what had happened is it's been 53 out of 53 every single practice. Everybody looks good. Everybody's healthy. It's the greatest thing in the world. And then yesterday we had Marshawn Lloyd riding a bike. And not that it necessarily means everybody needs to panic. Supposedly it's all part of the plan, whatever, I don't know. But either way, it's not super good in my opinion. I mean, yeah, either way, Marshawn Lloyd is not going to play very much, if at all, in this game. Whether or not he ends up being healthy. I mean, what in the world are we planning for a guy that can't even practice because of an injury? You know what I'm saying? But there were also some other people that were limited. Edgerrin Cooper was limited in practice with his hip injury. Romeo Doubs limited in practice with a hand injury. I don't know a ton on that, but that's kind of a new thing. Emmanuel Wilson, another guy we do not need injured. We got one on IR, one riding a bike, and Emmanuel Wilson now has a hip injury and was limited in practice. And Carrington Valentine has his hamstring injury and was limited in practice. Now, for almost all of my entire life, limited just means there's something wrong, but they're going to play, right? They got a lingering issue, but they're fine, they're going to play. Then last year happened, and limited meant don't count on them being in this game. I don't know when that switch happened. I don't know what's going on. I'm hoping this new training staff gets us back to where we used to be, where limited is really nothing to worry about. And Cooper, Doubs, Valentine, and Wilson are probably going to play. Now, again, same with Edgerrin Cooper. I would not expect him to play much, if at all. He's not been able to practice. He has not been in preseason or training camp or hardly anything at all because he's been injured. And as a rookie, he doesn't have a firm foundation in anything anyways. I would hope eventually he ends up taking a spot, and who knows, I could be wrong. He might end up having a very large role as you know, the number 3 linebacker perhaps. But we'll just have to wait and see. Romeo Doubs, though, I would expect to be out there. Carrington Valentine, hopefully we don't need to see. No disrespect to him, but, I mean, there would be something very wrong. The only one that's maybe a little concerning would be Emmanuel Wilson because we just don't have any running backs right now. And speaking of, let's turn over to this real quick if I can get to the right one. The Packers poach another former Chiefs player just before week 1. The Packers signed fullback Andrew Beck. Nope, that's the wrong one. Here we go. Packers signed former Dolphins running back Chris Brooks to the practice squad. So, you know, a lot of people are worried about Marshawn Lloyd. I think this may have to do more with Emmanuel Wilson. Either way, it's we brought in a running back because there's some serious concern about who the heck is going to be our RB2. I think there was some expectation Marshawn Lloyd is not going to play a lot, but now with Emmanuel Wilson being banged up, we're really, really running low on options. So Packers bring in another running back. Also, Packers lost tight end Messiah Swinson to the Panthers. So a little bit of a shakeup here and there. Again, nothing super major aside from the fact that we got to keep an eye on running back. Again, I think the plan probably, just based on what I had been hearing about the Eagles and some of their deficiencies and things that they're worried about, especially with linebacker or whatever, was around their ability to stop the run, which is really lacking last year. But if the Packers are worried about not having any running backs, I don't know how much they're going to want to press that issue. But we'll see when we get to that point. Again, as far as I know, and as best as I can guess, everyone is going to be ready with the maybe exception of Marshawn Lloyd. That would be my guess, but we'll see. We still have a couple days left of injury reports before we can kind of get a better idea. By the way, A.J. Brown, Landon Dickerson, Isaiah Rodgers, and Devin White are also all on the injury report. A.J. Brown and Landon Dickerson were just rest, so obviously there's nothing there. Isaiah Rodgers has a hand injury, and Devin White has an ankle injury. Again, limited usually, in my mind, means they're perfectly fine. They're a little banged up. They're going to play. It's not a big deal. But we'll see. It's something to keep an eye on. Isaiah Rodgers is their starting cornerback. He's the one that has not played since 2022. Devin White, we talked about yesterday, is the guy that is, for some reason, their starting linebacker, despite not being super great at football. All right. That's really all that I think I had today for news. There's not a whole lot else going on, and I don't want to just sit here and pretend that something is interesting when it's not. So why don't we just get to more interesting things, and that is whatever it is you want to talk about. How about that? We've got Pedro, the redhead from Brazil. By the way, 608-501-0718 is the call-in number. New callers go directly to the front of the line. Pedro, what's going on?
Hey, Ryan, what's up, man? Here's Pedro, the redhead from Brazil.
Going on, man?
So I just decided that I'm going to call you guys every single day until the Packers game in Brazil. Yeah. So starting today, if anybody has any questions or something, just, you guys can't hit me on Twitter anymore because I'm not there. But yeah, just call. I'm going to listen to the show and then I'll answer if you guys have any questions. So yeah. Now, talking about the team, I was thinking here after the 53 roster, we obviously changed kickers and stuff, and I was like, you know, everybody always, don't draft special teamers and stuff, but screw that. I'm thinking here, we barely use our 7th-round picks. I mean, anybody barely uses 7th-round picks. Just draft kickers every single year in the later rounds until you hit on one. Because why not? Just bring competition. Oh, no, but then you're going to be wasting picks. We just cut some people that we just drafted. We just used a pick to trade for the quarterback from the Titans. I forgot his name. So, you know what? Why not? Just give me a good kicker. You know, if you have a good kicker, I'll be in peace for like 10 years. So it's 100% worth it. So yeah, that's my peace of mind for today. And I'll be calling you guys tomorrow. So yeah, talk to you soon. Have a good one. Bye-bye.
I appreciate it. And yeah, again, to reiterate what Pedro's saying, he's going to be here every day. So if you got any questions specifically regarding the situation going down in Brazil, any of the questions, just, you know, what's it like and how you doing, whatever, he'll be checking in. And so get your questions called into the show. And I completely agree with that. I've never been a fan of 6th or 7th round picks. I think they're mostly a waste. That has changed recently because we've actually had some good picks. But you got to keep in mind the context of that. What does that mean, good pick? Now, granted, we may have a left tackle, which is great. I don't think he's going to be an elite left tackle, but he's decent enough left tackle. But like some other examples would be Carrington Valentine, who, as far as I can tell, is about as elite of a player as you're going to find in the 7th round, and he is a backup cornerback that you really don't want starting, but you're happy that you have him as a backup and as a depth piece. If that's not more important than a starting kicker, and you can say, well, you know, you can find starting kickers. No. you can't hardly find any good starting kickers. There are almost no really good starting kickers in the entire NFL, like 0 of them, right? And so they're actually really hard to find. It's not like, well, they're so easy to find. You can just go grab anybody in undrafted free agency and get it. No. The reality is they're hard to find. So what a 7th round pick does, essentially, is gives you a leg up on undrafted free agency. It's essentially saying, I'm going to forfeit the ability to, get this unbelievable long shot of a, high-level starting football player at a different position for the potential of an actual starting high-level kicker by getting like the first pick of the litter of kickers. You're probably going to miss, just like you're probably going to miss on any other position, because it's the 7th round. But again, what we're searching for, if you're searching for a kicker, is a dominant, like really, really high-level starter that can be there for 20 years. What you're searching for in, a wide receiver is like wide receiver 6. Maybe, if you're lucky, especially in Green Bay right now. So, yeah, I don't care. And the fact that people, look at how it's failed all the time. Like, that's proof. No, it's not. It's not proof of anything. It's not proof of anything to me. That doesn't tell me anything. I mean, I don't look at failed 7th round picks and just say, see, you should have picked a kicker. Because that doesn't mean you should pick a kicker. One does not equal the other. That's just the first step in an argument. You haven't made an argument. Oh, look at how bad that kicker was that we drafted. So what? Look at how bad all the undrafted free agent kickers are. It's an incredibly important position. Everybody acknowledges that. So I don't know why you wouldn't. Why somebody would protest putting in very, very little minimal effort at a very, very minimal expense. Now, if you start talking like the Bears took, a 3rd round punter or something, now we're getting a little crazy, That might be a little much, but if we're just having the conversation today about 7th round, I'm with you, right? At some point, yeah, it gets a little over the top in terms of expense, but I don't exactly know where that line is. So, Pedro Part 2, what's up?
Hey Ryan, it's me, Biz, the Red from Brazil, man. What's up? So, as I said before, I'm going to be calling every single day. So today is like Tuesday, like 6:30 a.m. So yeah, I want to talk about 2 things today. First of all, on this first call, I'm going to talk about the altitude here in São Paulo. I heard you talk about it a few pods earlier. So yeah, that's not a big issue. Okay, so the height here is like half the height on Denver. I mean, there is some height, but not, I don't think it will be that impactful. So I wouldn't worry about that. Definitely it's good to come here to acclimate, especially for the kickers. But yeah, I don't think it's a major issue. Okay. So, and the second thing I want to talk about, first of all, I want to apologize because I will be ranting here. I will call you again because I'm pissed off, man. Actually, most Brazilians are. So, yeah. Hold tight. I'll be calling right back and talk to you better.
Let's not delay.
So, hey Ryan, it's me again. I want to apologize in advance because if I, for some reason, swear or something, because I'm pissed off, man. I mean, most Brazilians are. As I said, the Eagles players are just talking crap about Brazil. I don't know why. I don't know if Elon Musk or someone asked them to, but come on, man. What the hell do these guys think they're talking about? It's our country. Oh, no, it's dangerous to have crimes. Boo-hoo, São Paulo is the 5th largest city in the whole world. Of course you have crime. What do you expect? You have crime in America, too. You have crime everywhere. In less than 10 years, we had here in Brazil the Olympic Games and the Soccer World Championship. So these events are okay, but an NFL game, it's too dangerous. So Simone Biles can come here, like 6 foot tall, and it's not dangerous for her. She's having a great time here, but a bunch of 6 feet tall NFL players who, by the way, most than a few times aren't involved in crimes, are too scared to come here. Come on, man. That's crap. That's crap. I'm pissed off. Every single NFL fan that is not an Eagle fan that I know is pissed off and is going to be rooting the hell out of for the Packers. If there ever were a game for the Packers to stomp someone else and gain like a bunch of fans, it's this one. We are pissed. These guys are talking shit about our country. Oh, man, I'm so ticked off. We need to win this game, man. I'm telling you. This is the game for the Packers to absolutely annihilate someone. Come on. I'm sorry. I'm ticked off, man. This is so disrespectful. We love the NFL, man. We don't deserve this kind of treatment. This is crap. So yeah, that's it. I'll call again tomorrow. So yeah, go Pack, go, and let's win this game.
Well, just between, first of all, greatest call ever, and we'll get into the specifics, but it should be somewhat apparent why this is awesome. Well, several things. Number one, I completely understand where you're coming from. I love the pride that Brazilians have for Brazil. I would expect everybody to respond that way if somebody talked trash about their country. I know in America, there's a lot of people who have a tendency to like self-loathe, like, oh, we're the worst country. Like, shut up, you freaking pansy. Get out of here. Just stand up for your country, bro. Jeez. So I love to hear that, and I would expect nothing less from Brazilians. I will say, though, between you and I would cut they're grown adults. They can do their own homework, but I would cut the Eagles a little bit of slack only because it really seems like the NFL is pushing this, and I don't really know why. I'm guessing there's just some safety people who had to put together some kind of a safety thing and just put all the stuff that could happen to them, and it scared the crap out of everybody or something. I don't really know how it got to this point. And I say cut them some slack, but I mean, it's literally one of those things where I heard it, I Googled it, and I'm like, oh, it's really not that bad. Like, there's some crimes that are a little higher, some that are a little lower, but I mean, you compare it to like Milwaukee or Chicago or St. Louis or like pretty much any major city. It depends what you're looking at, but almost every major city in America is at or worse than what Sao Paulo is. So, I don't know. I don't think it's that hard to just look into stuff, especially when you're going to have the media asking you questions, or just have the foresight to realize that that's maybe not the best way to represent yourself and your team when you're going to another country. That, again, from my perspective, what I love about this is the Packers get to go represent the Packers to the Packer fans in Brazil, and I think that's awesome. And the last thing the Packers need to be doing is, after all these years, and as far as I know, they're not, I'm just saying, like, the last thing I would want is to have a fan base so excited to finally see you, and then they just start talking trash about how they don't want to go there, and it's a crime-ridden country or whatever else, and it's like, you freaking jerk off. But I will say that I am happy to hear that this is the reaction from Brazilians, and I hope it is a widespread feeling, because I don't know if you knew this, Pedro, but everybody that is a Philadelphia Eagles fan is convinced that Brazilians are going to be overwhelmingly in support of the Eagles. And I just have this vision. When you were talking, I had this vision in my head. It's probably not going to happen, but oh boy, would it make me happy. I don't know if you recall, there was a time Colin Kaepernick was in the news. This is when he was really starting to get into political stuff or whatever, and he wore a T-shirt that was, I think it was like Malcolm X and Fidel Castro shaking hands, I think, or maybe it was MLK. I think it was Malcolm X, though. And he went to go and play in Miami, and Miami has a lot of people from the place that Castro's from, and they're not big fans of him. The bottom line is, though, he got booed when he came out of that stadium because they were pissed that he would dare wear that guy on his T-shirt, and that they would dare praise a person like that. And I'm just saying, it would be kind of cool if the Eagles come out thinking they're getting some kind of a home field welcome, and there is just a roar of boos and pissed off Brazilians at the amount of crap that was being talked by the Philadelphia Eagles. That's, I'm probably way off base here, but just hearing, because I don't know how it's being phrased or interpreted down in Brazil. I mean, it certainly seemed that way to me, as obviously it was all Eagles players that were saying it, and I don't think any Packer fans said anything about it, or certainly any Packers coaches. So it feels like it's all coming from one place. So, but I didn't really pay that close attention to really dig in and see. But I'm glad, as much as I'm not glad that the statements were made and everything, but I'm glad that Brazilians are noticing and are also, at least you, hopefully all, are distinguishing. Not just these frickin' Americans or these frickin' football players or whatever. It's the Eagles are doing this. Not the Packers, not Americans, the Eagles players. And even though it's not probably their fault, I don't give a crap. They're the ones saying it. They're the rivals. They're the ones talking all this trash about, it's going to be a home field advantage for us, bro. Dude, I hope it is a sea of Packer fans and they scream for the Packers and just boo the Eagles 24/7. I want the Eagles' only touchdown of the game to be the loudest part of the game when there are just boos, where they have to calm the game because it's we can't even continue. It's so loud in here with all the boos. We got to clean up the stadium because they're throwing crap out on the field. We got to calm these people down. I'm not saying get way out of hand, but maybe a little out of hand as a huge screw you to them. By the way, this is the fan base that treats other teams like this. Scummiest fan base on planet Earth that literally throws stuff at Santa Claus, okay? I don't know. Maybe I'm being unfair. Maybe that's not nice. I don't know. Maybe that's not nice. But they said it. They got to own it. And I'm freaking sick of hearing about how the Eagles are going to have a home game in Sao Paulo and the Packers don't know what's coming, and it's there's significantly more. Shut up, bro. Shut up. I hope you feel better, because I feel better. Why don't we take probably our only break? We'll come back. We got Bramble, Trucker Bob, and Garrett from Southern Illinois. We'll be right back.
U.S. Cellular has noticed the way we use our phones has gotten ironic. We try to put our phones down for dinner, but the menu's on a QR code. That's ironic. We hit like on social posts that we don't actually like, which is ironic. Which is why U.S. Cellular created Us Mode, to help us reconnect with each other and use our phones less ironically. A phone company wanting people to use their phones less is ironic. Let's find us again with Us Mode from U.S. Cellular. Visit uscellular.com/built-for-us to get started.
Kick off the 2024 football season with Prize Picks, America's #1 daily fantasy sports app. It's the easiest way to play. Just pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections and watch your winnings roll in. This September, get automatic win every week by picking Caleb Williams to get just 1 passing yard. That's right, 4 weeks of free wins, but only if you jump on it before September ends. And don't forget, you can win up to 100 times your money with as little as 4 correct picks. Prize Picks even has injury insurance, so if your player leaves the game early, you're still in the game. I've been loving Prize Picks, my go-to for simple, fast, and fun fantasy action. When my picks hit, I get paid in as little as 15 minutes. Download Prize Picks now and use code PACKDADDY to get $50 instantly when you play $5. That's code PACKDADDY for $50 guaranteed. Prize Picks, run your game. Remember, Prize Picks is a skill-based fantasy game, making your lineups just got a whole lot more exciting.
My dad works in B2B marketing. He came by my school for career day and said he was a big ROAS man. Then he told everyone how much he loved calculating his return on ad spend. My friends still laugh at me to this day.
Not everyone gets B2B, but with LinkedIn, you'll be able to reach people who do. Get a $100 credit on your next ad campaign. Go to linkedin.com/results to claim your credit. That's linkedin.com/results. Terms and conditions apply. LinkedIn, the place to be, to be.
When it comes to towing, seeing is believing. That's why Chevy Truck's advanced camera technology offers up to 8 available cameras for 14 unique views, so you can focus on the view that really matters. Chevrolet, together let's drive. Learn more about Chevy Trucks at Chevy.com. Safety or driver assistance features are no substitute for the driver's responsibility to operate the vehicle in a safe manner. Read the vehicle owner's manual for important feature limitations and information.
Hey, Nails.
Hey.
Want to let you know that
here we
I
go.
appreciate when you bring the children on and make it less professional, I guess you could say, in a way.
Oh, thank you.
Some of these other podcasts are sort of GD sanitized. It's almost like we're boomeranging back into like the 1950s radio. But anyhow, just wanted to call and say I appreciated hearing the child this morning. So, all right, go Pack, go.
I'm glad you enjoy it, and I will say that was one of my first thoughts when I got into this, was that would be, whether or not it would be appreciated, I don't know. And it wasn't just Packers. I mean, the pack. It always felt like, because podcasting was a little bit more new at the time, and it was certainly becoming super popular. I don't even know if it's maybe it is. Everybody still needs a podcast, but it just felt like there was like a podcast voice, and it always annoyed the crap out of me. Like, we're going to start a podcast. Like, okay. And then you listen to them, and they're like, I don't even know. You know what I mean? Like the sanitized voice, like there's a podcast voice that you have to have. Hi, welcome to the podcast. Today, I have Stephanie with me, and we're going to talk about ways that we like to do things. Hi, Stephanie. Thanks for joining me today. Hi. So glad to be here. Well, thank you. It's, it's like, ugh. It's like when somebody gets you like a really itchy like t-shirt or sweatshirt, and you like it's for Christmas. I'll try it on, and you put it on, and it's like, can I take it off, please? Ugh. I don't, and again, there's people that, I mean, not everybody, but there's some people even in the sports space. I would say less so in the sports space than some of the others, but certainly some in the sports, some even in the Packers space that have that sort of like professional radio voice. Hi, talking about the Green Bay Packers. Like, why? But why are you doing that, dude? Like, I don't understand. I don't know. I've always wanted to just have more of a conversational thing. I mean, again, when I started the podcast, I'll give you the backstory for those that didn't hear. I just had a lot that I wanted to say. Like, period. That's it. I've always just been that way where it's like, I got all this stuff, I just want to get it out. And I said, I'm just going to start a blog. And so I started a blog. I reached out to some people like, hey, you want to collaborate? Talk to Packernet. Excuse me. Actually talked to the guy who's a part of Packernet who had a Browns thing, because I went out to all 31 other teams and said, hey, should we collaborate, whatever. And his answer was, no, I don't want to collaborate with you. However, I like what you're writing. It was all like statistics and all this crazy stuff. Why don't you come write for Packernet? So I wrote for Packernet. I realized that the typing was what was slowing me down. Anyways, I just want to get this crap out there. I'm not a freaking expert in anything. I'm just talking. I'm just a fan that just wants to get this crap out. And if you want to come hang out, then let's just hang out. I don't care. But like, what am I supposed to do? I have to change my cadence, and I have to change this. It's like even people talk about like editing the podcast. Like, edit what, bro? Edit D's. How about that? Like, what are you talking about? Edit. Like, there's some stuff that needs like whatever, but I don't know, man. It's just people put too much emphasis on the wrong things. Like we have to make this perfect, and we got to do all this stuff, and we got to talk a certain way and act a certain way, and you got to have guests, and you got to have this, and you got to reach out to industry experts and try to get players on the show. And yeah, it's probably the right thing to do, but that's not what I want to do. And that's, I don't know if that's that's the right thing to do, then I guess I'm going to do the wrong thing, because I've done it a few times. Not the player thing, because they will never respond to my stuff. One guy did, and I will always appreciate him. I asked what kind of food he liked. He said mac and cheese. But, no, I just always wanted this to be something different, where it's just people hanging out. You know what I mean? It's why, even though I do get annoyed and I do argue with people, it's not because necessarily I think I'm a super genius, although a lot of times I am a lot smarter than the people I'm arguing with. Again, not because I'm a genius, but because I'm looking at information and you're just refusing to. So I'm just a normal person and you're stupid. But, no, it's like, it doesn't bother me so much when people disagree, because it's just like freaking whatever, dude. I don't, it's not a shot at my credentials, because I don't have any, and I never pretended to have any, and I'm not freaking superhuman. I'm just a dude talking about the Packers. Which is also why I've never really had a problem with imposter syndrome, because, I mean, what I'm not even claiming to really be anything, like, well, what gives you the right? Well, what gives me the right? I don't, I'm just talking into a microphone, bro. Like, anybody can literally do this. I'm not doing anything that's super crazy. So, what are my, I'm perfectly qualified to do what I'm doing, which is just talking about stuff. Anyways, I'm glad you appreciate it. And, that's just the way things are going to be. Some people might not dig that, and so they can go listen to those other people. Trucker Bob, what's going on?
Hey, Nails.
Oh, it's going to stick, isn't it? The Nails thing.
Love that name. How you doing, Nails?
Oh, great.
Yeah, what a great nickname you got there. This is Trucker Bob.
Hey, Trucker Bob.
And I think I started something you probably didn't like.
You did start
Anyways,
something.
I wanted to give...
I did not think that was going anywhere. I didn't even think you'd call back a second time calling me Nails, but you got Bramble calling me Nails, you call me Nails. I guess, I don't know. I don't know what to do with this exactly.
You, my best guess for the Packers season. I'm going with the Packers to go 12-5. I figure they will win most of the games against the good teams, and they always lose a couple games to what might be considered bad teams. But 3 losses to good teams, 2 losses to bad teams is how I looked at it. So I'm picking a 12-5 season for the Packers. Now that can improve if we stay basically injury-free. And we have a solid kicker who makes the extra points and, 45 yards on in almost all his field goals. After that, it's a 50-50 at best, if even that. The second thing I wanted to talk about, do you think the Packers will make any major trades before the trade deadline? And I'm curious as to what you think might be a good trading scenario for them. I have a feeling that injuries will determine that most likely, but I just wonder if there's a particular trade you'd like to see the Packers do during the season before the trade deadline. Anyways, Mr. Nails Ryan, you have a wonderful day. Trucker Bob out.
Well, I mean, at this point in time, I guess I would probably lean toward no. I mean, that seems to be the easiest one. I think the one thing that came up earlier in the podcast was running back, as much as that seems unlikely, or at least at some point seemed unlikely. When you lose one guy to IR, you have your rookie with an injury. Let's just say that flares up and he's not able to go. And I don't think that they're super excited about having Emmanuel Wilson as the number 2. Could they possibly go get somebody just as, rather than like what they picked up just now, as far as just a guy to go on the practice squad so that we can elevate the guy on our practice squad up, like an actual kind of starter type of guy. Other than that, I don't know. The common line has been offensive line. And I think that that's certainly a possibility, but that would require an injury where we just don't have a huge amount of depth there. But I think as it is right now, that probably is going to be okay. But we'll see. I think it's a question that I've touched on before, and I don't have a super different answer aside from, again, running back. But let's let week 1 go ahead and play out. See how that goes, see who underperforms or who gets injured or whatever, and then we can revisit that one. Trucker Bob, part 2.
Hey, Nails, Ryan, Trucker Bob here. I've got the perfect introduction for your show. You got a 1930s Pierce Arrow 12-cylinder black convertible coupe roadster.
Mm-hmm.
I picture in your black double-breasted suit with white pinstripes,
hope this doesn't get
dark
weird.
green tie, and a
gangster?
black fedora hat with matching white pinstripes.
Tell me I
on
got a
it.
gun.
Under your arm is a Brigadier General
Yes.
John T. Thompson submachine gun.
Tommy gun.
Hanging out of your mouth is a Monte Cristo Cuban cigar. And you are cruising down the street on Lakeshore Drive in Chicago. In the front seat is Clayton. He is driving. And next to him is your Mexican lawyer friend giving you advice, dressed in their very best gangland outfits. As the camera starts with a close-up of Nails Ryan sitting on the top of the back seat with his shiny black shoes on seat and submachine gun under his arm, the camera starts to expand to show you going down Lakeshore Drive in downtown Chicago. And then as the camera fades out, the announcer begins to say, "And now, from the heartland of Wisconsin, your favorite panelist and bear hunting podcaster, now hunting bears in downtown Chicago, your favorite Packer podcaster, here he is, Nails Ryan."
Well, we went from I'm just a humble guy with a microphone to I am a 1930s mob figure going to hunt bears in Chicago, of all places. It's funny because I didn't know what that car looked like, so I just copy and pasted it as you were talking. 1930s Pierce Arrow 12-cylinder black convertible coupe roadster. And as soon as I saw it, I was like, oh, that's a mobster car right there. Like that, I got a Tommy gun, especially when you started talking about the double-breasted suit with pinstripes. It's like, oh, I'm 100% a gangster. So yeah, it's a heck of an image. I'll have to see if I can get that worked out here and put on social media. Not that anybody'll. You got to listen to understand it. So some people be like, "Wow, you're a conceited jagoff. Think that you're so cool." It's Trucker Bob, man. He made me do it. It's a fun image. I'll give you that.
Buenas noches, Pack Daddy. Here from Southern Illinois.
What's up?
Just getting in the mood for a game to be played in Brazil in a couple of days.
Yeah,
calling in with my prediction of how the first game is going to go. I just want to say this team could have one of these breakout games, or it could be really, really close because we just don't know. But I'm going to make a prediction anyways that they are going to win 38
Dang.
to 17. Green Bay wins 38-17. And I'm going to say that the breakout player is going to be Dobbs.
All right.
Dobbs has proven to be the go-to guy in the red zone during practice, and I think it's going to continue that way. So let's go. Go Pack, go.
38-7. All right, I'll buy the score. Let me think for a second before we close this out, because this is the last call. Who's going to be the breakout player? Just offense. Because every week we should just have a pool on this. Which wide receiver is going to be the wide receiver? It might only be fun for a couple weeks if somebody actually gets established as that dude. But when you got Watson and Dobbs and Reed and Wicks as your wide receivers, you kind of feel that 2010, 2011, 2012 vibe of just you never know from week to week. Plus, I mean, you could throw Musgrave and Kraft in the mix too, I suppose. Maybe even Josh Jacobs. I don't know, whatever. Aaron Jones certainly had days where it was because of him. I've already said Josh Jacobs, so I'm going to back off that for a second. I'm going to lean into what I said before, where they're a little nervous about the running backs. I'm not going to say Wicks, even though I think that's a fair bet, only because when you look at like the snap counts and everything, it seemed like they made him the clear number 4. Watson always took a while to get ramped up. So I'm kind of down to Reed and Dobbs. Dobbs does make sense, but you said Dobbs. I'll go Reed, man. It's going to be tough to really stand out in that group. You know, Jaden Reed he seemed to be really consistent like every game all throughout. And there was also a ton of injuries. You know, we went without Romeo. We went out without Watson for a ton of time. And with everybody healthy, it's going to be a little much to expect Reed to really emerge as that dude. But I'm going to say that he's that guy. How about that? How about that, world? How about that? All right, let's get out of here. Again, a little short on calls. That's why we didn't have one yesterday and why we're just incorporating it into this today. So I understand if you don't have anything else to say. I'm in that same mode right now where it's like, dude, all the talking's been talked about. We talked all off season. It's time to freaking let's do it. You know what I mean? Let's actually see it. So I understand, but if you got any calls, let's get them in now, so we can. You know, we got to have something to do these next couple days, dude. I can't be staring at my walls for the next couple days waiting for this game because it's going to be like watching paint dry, man. I can't. Time is just going backwards at this point, so we got to find a way to entertain each other. So give me a call. Let's hang out. Let's do some stuff. I'll talk to you later. Have a good one.